We got 1800 in 2 brackets, so I thought maybe a guide would be useful to you LiHjW fans out there. So let's dive right in and get you this beautiful elite set. As for the spec, we are no longer picking Fill Barrage. It's just doing more harm than good for our Fury generation and sustained damage. We're swapping that for Isolated Prey, which has various benefits if you strike only one target, and Furious Gaze, which gives us haste after we fully channel I-Beam. There are a few differences between the solo shuffle spec and the 2v2 spec. Both specs will be in the description down below. In shuffle, for the class tenants we go with Shattered Restoration and 2 points in Erratic Fellheart. For spec talents, we will pick Inertia and Mortal Dance for more healing reduction. Sometimes if you feel like you cannot survive, then you can pick Deflective Dance. Inertia is usually better for shuffle because of that short window of a big burst that is needed in shuffle to kill just one target, and momentum is usually better in 2s because the arena lasts a lot longer and you need your damage increases. And it's easier to maintain because you only have to Fatal Rush, Vengeful Retreat or the Hunt. You don't have to press Simulation Aura as well. In 2s, for the class talents we go with only 1 point in the Erratic Fellheart. So you can pick Swallowed Anger, which gives us more fury when we dispel an enemy's buff, and Soul Sigils because it gives us a soul fragment each time you cast any sigil. For spec talents, the only difference from solo shuffle, as we said, it's we're gonna pick momentum. Deflective Dance if you're focusing the healer. As a tactic, always try to focus the healer in 2s as a Havoc Demon Hunter. I saw that this works the best for me. And obviously also have a healer yourself. I went with the Disc Priest, the legendary Dip himself, because we need a lot of survivability. We don't have that much self-heal anymore. We cannot face tank the other DPS. And we also need some survivability because the other DPS might try to peel. And of course, if we need that extra survivability, I would pick Deflective Dance in 2s as well. It works really well if you're targeting the healer. All worth it if the DPS is also peeling you. So remember, try to target the healer in 2s as much as possible. In solo shuffle, obviously, you're targeting the weakest link. For the PvP talents, regardless of the bracket, we are defaulting to Chaotic Imprint, Detainment, and Glimpse. Best talents out there. And yes, Detainment makes our Imprison like a Cyclone, and we really need that in this patch because usually CC wins the game, and we cannot afford it to be interrupted by any damage spell. Chaotic Imprint for more damage because you also have your 2 set for the Demon Hunter, which triggers Throwglaive, and that gives you more damage basically. And always use Glimpse because you can set it up with the Hunt, making sure you're never CC'd. So Glimpse gets you out of CCs. If you see a Warlock casting Fear, for example, you can Glimpse right out of that. In some situations where you might get rooted a lot, or you really have to cleanse your teammates' harmful effects, you want to go with Reverse Magic. Usually when there's a class that has a lot of roots, coupled with a teammate that has some dispellable CC, it will be great to use Reverse Magic. This usually goes more in 2s rather than solo shuffle. I tried to not use it in some shuffles and it was pretty great anyways, because the Chaotic Imprint damage helps a lot more. It's a different game. For the gear, make sure you get your 4 set. Although in solo shuffle, I managed to get to 1800 with the 2 set, which is, I would say, mandatory because you don't have to cast Throwglaive anymore and you can pick Furious Throws for extra Throwglaive damage when you actually have Fury to use it, of course. And this also makes you use Throwglaive if you want an additional slow applied. For example, a Druid changes form after you casted Blade Dance on him, which also applied Throwglaive and the slow, so you want to use an additional slow on him. But right now I think it's possible to get the full set, so just go for it, because also Throwglaive now reduces the cooldown of the Hunt each time you use it by 2 seconds, which is amazing. Now let's cover rotation. Make sure you keep up momentum or inertia as much as possible when you're setting up your damage. Weak auras help a lot with that, and I also will leave them in the description down below. So let's start the rotation as we would with the solo shuffle spec, with inertia. So you go Immolation Aura, Fell Rush, now you have inertia, I-Beam, Essence Break, and Blade Dance. This should give you a lot of damage. Then Chaos Strike to spend your fury. Then you go another Immolation Aura, Fell Rush, Fell Blade maybe, Blade Dance. For additional damage, Glimpse and the Hunt. Boom, 300k right there. That's an example of an opener. And you use Vengeful Retreat because you don't want to be stopped in the Hunt, while also having inertia up. Then it's all Immolation Aura, Fell Rush before you set anything else. For example, you can go Meta and then Initial Decree, which deals a ton of damage, and also you're gonna get a lot of heal from your soul fragments. For the Hunt, there's also a macro, which basically cancels your Hunt cast, so you can bait people with that. That is a very good tactic, and I do not use it. I just wanted to put it out there because it's very helpful, but I always forget to use the actual macro. It's a very funny stream meme. If you're out of fury by any chance, you can also cast a Sigil of Flame and it will basically give you some fury. We can try the 2 spec as well, but the rotation is similar, even though you don't have to use Immolation Aura and Fell Rush to set up momentum. It's also great because the Unbound Chaos comes in effect and your Fel Rush damage is increased. So I'll go Immolation Aura, Fel Rush, already have momentum, Eye-Beam, Blade Dance, Essence Break, Chaos Strike, Immolation Aura, Fel Rush, Fel Blade, go back, the Hunt, go back, I mean, Vengeful Retreat, Illicit Decree, simple enough. And if you want to make sure you set all of these up, you can also add the Fel Eruption. But if you play with a Rogue, for example, do not stun your kill target as often as you would usually, because there's the stun DR and his CCs won't be that effective. And trust me, his CCs are better. For defensives, always use Blur when you're in trouble and you're targeted, and obviously when you know that the enemy is gonna burst you down. If you're really close to dying, use Netherwalk. Keep in mind that in Netherwalk you can be CC'd, but if you are not CC'd, you can cast some of your sigils, like Sigil of Flame or Sigil of Misery, so you can basically turn the game around a little bit. If you're playing with a Discris, for example, do not use Netherwalk first. Communicate with your teammate to live swap first, and then use Netherwalk. And in solo shuffle, well, YOLO. For Darkness, you want to preserve it to help as many targets as possible. For example, if a Shaman puts the Root Totem down and you have many targets around you that are stunned, just drop a Darkness on all of them, and basically they have a less chance to be damaged. I usually try to help my teammates with Darkness and only help myself in desperate situations, like rogues or monks these days. As for CCs, use Chaos Nova to stun as many targets as possible, in shuffle especially, and use Fel Eruption for your kill target. So like I said, Demolition Aura, Fel Rush, we can stun the target, Fel Blade, Eye-Beam, Essence Break, Blade Dance. They cannot get away from this. The reason why I'm saying to use Eye-Beam first or Metamorphosis and then Essence Break and Blade Dance is because Blade Dance is the most effective when you're in your Metamorphosis and you already applied the Essence Break dot on your target. If you just use it outside of your form, I do that sometimes, it's just less effective. If everything else is on CD, you can also just Fel Eruption and Illicit Decree the target. I could just set up a momentum, Fel Eruption, Illicit Decree. Always deals more damage, and it helps you survive. Illicit Decree is one of your biggest damage abilities and one of your biggest defensives in a way. It's kinda the only self-heal you have. For the gear, I am not fully geared because Conquest cap and I do not understand why we still have it. I'm recording this before patch 10.2.5, so probably they will remove it. Now for gems, you want to apply 70 Mastery and 33 Versatility, which is basically the Zen Neltharite. As for gear, you're gonna prioritize Versatility and Mastery items. Some of them you can find in a PvP vendor, some of them you have to craft. For example, Lifebound Boots have Versatility and Mastery because you can apply whatever stat you want to them, and we're gonna choose that. And you can make them max item level in PvP. Enchants, I would go Fierce Armor Kit for the legs, Planesrunner's Breeze for the boots. For the bracelets, although I don't have the epic ones yet, so that's why I didn't enchant them, I would go with Leech, Waking Stats for the chest, and I would go with Mastery for the rings. Oh damn, I need to apply some enchants here. For the weapons, you want to use Sophic Devotion as always. As trinkets go for the equipable trinket from the PvP vendor and medallion. Self-explanatory. Also, a little trick on CCs. If you want to like CC chain, which happens a lot this patch apparently, you can do something like Fel Eruption and then Sigil of Misery, which gives them one additional fear. Who knows, maybe they'll even medallion all of this and then you couple it with an Imprison. And that target is CC'd for a significant amount of time. So that's it. I hope this guide was helpful. If you think I missed something, let me know in the comments. If this was helpful, you know, give it a like, man. And don't forget, if you're new, to subscribe to the channel for more helpful guides like this. I will see you guys next time. Peace.